and y'all, we got it. Scoop, 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 and y'all, we got it.
That's how we go. This is how it games the press and roll. That's how it go. This is how it games the press and roll. That's how it go. This is how it games the press and roll. That's how it go. This is how it games the press and roll. And now, get ready for Ginger Caskins and Lloyd Spence, the press and the pros. Let's go.
I love the aesthetics of our show. We're back. Episode 2 of the Press and Pros. We are back. We had a good time last week. So good, we decided to do it again this week. We're having a good time, man. We're having a good time. Listen, if you're an NBA fan, it's a great time to be alive.
Right.
Doesn't get much better than this.
I mean, you basically have whole new teams out there. Whole new cores, anyway.
Only the NBA can hit the entire reset button and start over, basically. Like they had a whole half a season and then said, this wasn't good enough. Let's hit this.
And I got to give them credit for making the trade deadline the week of the Super Bowl.
Oh, that was genius.
Because they knocked the Super Bowl right on out of the headlines until the game, really. And
guess what, Kendrick? To make it even worse, when the Super Bowl finally got its stage, it did not deliver.
Right.
And the game was terrible.
And then on top of that, another more credit to them, everybody played on Monday. The Monday after the Super Bowl. I think just about every team in the league played on Monday.
They were like, well, that's over. Let's get back to business.
Yeah, you have a bunch of games. You had that Phoenix-Memphis game was great last night. You got Golden State at Dallas tonight. And so, I mean, they came out the gates as soon as the Super Bowl was over. They came out the gates firing. And then, of course, they'll come with screeching halt on Sunday for the All-Star game, but it'll ramp back up.
Yeah, well, we definitely gonna get into that here in a minute with the All-Star game because I don't know how I feel about that either. I'm a little, I don't know. But listen, we're back. That's the great kid.
Let's give the players who are always sitting out more games. That makes sense.
How about we let them play twice on that day? Not just once. We'll double down. Let them play 2 different games. That makes a lot of sense. Shout out to whoever came up with that genius idea. Okay, we we're coming in high. That, by the way, that is the great Kendrick Caskins. I'm Lloyd Spence. You got about 30-some plus years, almost 40 years of journalistic integrity on this show today. So you're welcome. All right, let's start with the breaking news. KD. But first of all, let me tell you how poorly run the Phoenix Suns are. Had no idea that KD was that close to 30,000 points.
None.
And I was like, really? Wow, that came out of nowhere. Nobody in the marketing department wanted to get together and say, hey, we need to prepare for this. I got it. They were too busy trying to trade him. I forgot.
Yeah, because I had no idea, and then until last night, because I didn't get to see much of the game because I was coming home from Lexington, and
right,
and I saw Ja giving him the ball, and I was like,
right,
what's going on here? And then they said it, I was like, oh, seems like something they would have been promoting going into the game. I'm like, TNT didn't promote it either.
I'm not 100% sure TNT knew either. I don't think anybody knew that he was that close to 30,000 points, which is a considerable milestone considering only 8 people have, or 9 people have done it.
Right.
So I'm just saying, it was such a weird moment because they finally did stop, and I guess between the third and fourth quarter, somebody said, maybe we should give him a standing ovation. And then they gave him a standing ovation, and he sat on the bench and acknowledged it or whatever. But it was just such a weird moment because you're like, fam, that's 30,000 points. Like, y'all,
Right.
y'all don't think that's a big deal? That's kind of a big deal. But
Yeah.
it is interesting in this regard because it makes you stop. These milestone moments makes you stop and kind of reflect on KD or the player like it did with LeBron, like where do you rank him? And LeBron's legacy is pretty cemented regardless of where you have him ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But KD's is a little different.
Yeah.
And so I do want to ask you, Kendrick, where do you rank KD? Like how do you assess him as a player overall?
It is hard because he has bounced around so much. Not all of it is his fault. Like, he started with
No,
the
not
Sonics.
all of it. Not all
He
of it.
started with the Sonics and went to the Thunder, but that was because the Seattle moved to Oklahoma.
Right. That part's not his fault.
Yeah, but I love KD as a player. I love watching him play. He's must be. He can play his style of play. KD can play as long as he wants to.
Right.
It doesn't really depend on athleticism. It doesn't depend on brute physical strength. There's nothing you can do about it. He's 7 foot young, and so I think he's definitely a top 10 of all time. I really do. Definitely score. He's a top.
Yeah, top 10 scorer. I definitely can't argue with that. I guess for me, it all comes down to the metrics that you use when you define an all-time great. And that's where it gets tricky with KD. Because the talent is undeniable. That's not even a question.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the intangible things.
It's
And
all
like
just
I know
the little things that are around him. Like, there's some in his control, some not in his control. Like he, because I think if him and Kyrie got together at this stage in their career, where Kyrie is at mentally now,
that'd be great.
That goes a whole lot different.
That'd be great.
He got the I don't want to disparage the man's name, but he got the young Kyrie.
He did. The slightly immature Kyrie, still trying to find himself, Kyrie.
Yeah. Because like
100%.
the maturation of Kyrie since he got to Dallas has been
totally different guy.
He's a totally different person.
And shout out to Jason Kidd for that influence too. I think Jason Kidd helped.
Had a big influence on that.
Yeah.
And so if that Brooklyn team, and even then with all of that, with all of Kyrie's antics and James Harden being James Harden and all that, they were still a toe from going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
One toe. Yeah. I think I can't argue him being top 10 of all time. That's really difficult to do when you look at the totality of what he's accomplished. But it's a hard cap though. Like I don't think he can rise up higher than.
I think if he could somehow get another title, not with Steph.
Where though? Like, but see, the problem is, it doesn't matter to you where. Wow. Okay.
If he gets another title, may need to win the MVP of the finals. If he does that again,
that'd be impressive. That would be impressive.
That now, granted, at his stage of his career, the chances of that are. Well, it depends on where he's up next year because he's obviously getting traded at the end of the season.
Clearly,
if he ends up in the right spot, then it may change. I would love to see him in Memphis. Just throwing that out there.
Throw it out there. Manifest it. Speak it into existence. I'd like to see him go somewhere like that as opposed to an old G link up. Like he's,
right.
don't
go
go
to
to the Lakers. Yeah, don't do that. Don't go. I don't know. Don't go to back to Golden State. Don't do that.
That ship has sailed apparently.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do something like that. Like, take somebody that's never been to the promised land, and then I might bump you up to a 5 at that point, because that would be significant to me. But right now, it's a hard lock at 10, probably.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Because my thing is where it gets difficult with me is judging him and Bird. Because I think talent-wise, you have to go KD, but the intangibles, just the mystique,
the impact,
the impact on the game itself.
Yeah.
It's hard to put
you said something. You said something last week, and I 1,000% agree. We have to start judging the guys that changed the game differently from the guys that were great at the game. KD's I was great at the game guy. Right. But Bird was we're not here in the modern NBA with TV deals like this if it's not for Bird and Magic. That's a different metric. And so I agree with you on that. I think, it's going to be hard for him to get to that top 5. My top 5 is probably I don't think anybody else's top 5 on the planet.
I don't think he can get in my top 5 either. I don't think. Because definitely, you got MJ and Bron.
Right.
And then, and it's probably because, we talk about impact on the game. It's probably because he made me fall in love with the game first, and that's Magic.
It's Magic, yeah.
So I put him at 3rd.
Magic's still in my top 5, 100%. Yes. And then I talked to you about my Steph Curry. I listen.
I know, and you made that argument, and I can't dispute it. It's even more weird trying to dispute it when Steph's still my favorite player in the league.
Right. Listen. I'm a diehard Laker fan, and I watch Golden State games quite often because it's just fun to watch that dude play.
Ja's my favorite player just because we both went to Murray State. But Steph.
Let me say this. Just put this for you because you didn't see it last night. Ja had a move last night where he came down, went right, crossed the guy left, crossed the guy back right, had the ball in his right hand, jumped in the air, and decided, I'm just going to lay it up left-handed. And it was so smooth. You were just like, oh, boy, you are talented, sir. Golly. He is really, really talented.
Get the craziness out of him.
If you can just get that out.
And his daddy.
Well, that part's gone. They literally just ejected his dad from the game the other night.
Right. How are you a grown man in the NBA getting kicked out of games? Bro, chill out, bro. It's not about you. And we can say that because we're about the same age.
More helicopter dad, Ja's dad or LeVar Ball?
Well, here's the thing, the conundrum with both of them. They both raised good kids.
Worked perfectly. Did their job as black fathers. Can't even argue with that at all. And you can argue that LeVar did an outstanding job because all his sons are millionaires.
Right.
Just say it.
It's all right, tough, they make it tough to root for them.
They make it awfully hard to celebrate them. For sure. All right. Well, let's get to the headlines and hot takes for today. Not many really going into today. We saw that the Mark Williams trade for the Lakers was rescinded, and we'll get to the grades here later on. But it was rescinded because the Lakers gave him a physical and was like, "Yo, fam, y'all ain't tell us that this car ain't got no air conditioning, and then also the tape, the music
Apparently,
thing
he
has
ain't
been
got a
ripped
battery
out,
either.
right? And why is the carburetor leaking? And it's just a lot of problems. Y'all said it just needed some tires. That's what y'all told us.
But the thing is, though, they should have known that. I mean, dude's barely played, and he's been in the league for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but
he's worse.
To
than
be
AD.
fair, that's true. That's true. But to be fair, I think people don't always tell the truth in these things. Like they just don't. I mean, they were. Listen, Charlotte was probably shocked that the Lakers were even calling them. They were like, "Who's this? We don't want to give up." Are y'all serious? Like y'all for real? Done. We'll send him over. We'll send him over. He probably didn't even have time to pack. They were probably like, "We'll just send you stuff. Don't even worry about it." But boy, what an awkward conversation it has been with Dalton Connect.
Right. Like, he don't want to be there anymore.
Talk
I don't blame him.
Talk about your welcome to the NBA moment.
No kidding. And I don't blame him one bit.
Well, I don't blame him, but you're gonna have to suck this one up, kid. Like
He's gonna have to. I mean, he will.
You have to figure this out. Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't want to play for him. I mean, you just trying to get rid of me, and I'm playing well. I'm probably at the time was probably the third best player on the team. So
kicked him smooth out in the middle of the night. Like didn't even like he was out with his friends hanging out. Mm-hmm. And no, I'm sorry, he was in New York with the team. Remember at the dinner? I wonder was he at the dinner with LeBron? That'd be awkward.
I don't trust him.
No. He wasn't at the dinner when the Mark Williams thing went trade.
No, because
they were back. They were back.
Yeah,
they were back.
LeBron was out with his family.
Still pretty awkward though. Still pretty awkward. Like, I don't know how you explain that to a dude who was playing, like you said, arguably you could make a case maybe was the rookie of the year or close to it. At least he was in the conversation. And it was like, yeah, remember when we had told you was gonna get all these minutes with the Lakers and you was part of the future? Yeah. Yeah.
but I do think at the end the Lakers did get a better player with Alex Len.
Well, that brings to the rest of the situation, which is ironic, which is funny because I had been hearing that Alex Len was almost a lock coming off the waiver wires going to the Pacers, and then he was like, "Oh, I have a chance to go to the Lakers."
Mm-hmm.
Done. Which smart play by Alex Len. Smart play by Alex Len.
Plus, I wonder how much the Pacers pursued it anymore once Miles Turner didn't leave. Because, you don't need both of them.
No, you don't need both of them. And I think they
probably
been there. Yeah,
they probably backed off once Miles Turner survived as his meme he posted.
he did look pleased, didn't he? He looked like. But I think it's more of a family thing. And plus, I hate moving. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I hate moving too.
Yeah, so maybe that's why he was like, I don't know.
I can leave Indy though.
Yeah, well, being honest. Anyway, Gafford is out. Daniel Gafford is out in Dallas for the foreseeable future.
Have we gotten what the prognosis was on that knee injury?
Other than
it didn't look good.
Injury, other than a knee sprain that is going to take some time to heal, there is no timetable yet being projected. There is, however, many calls for the jobs of the medical staff of the Dallas Mavericks because what's happening? Like everything is falling apart.
Every big they've had has been injured.
Everybody's hurt. P.J. Washington,
AD,
which
I think AD's carried over.
Likely,
I think they brought AD back.
Yeah.
But they brought him back too fast.
They did because it was the pressure.
I know.
I get it. Listen, Nico, I get this one. First of all, Nico is a fine human being, and don't nobody ever better say nothing bad about Nico Harrison to me. I love Nico Harrison. He's a great human being. And not just because he gave us an all-time franchise.
Sure.
He's just a good guy. But I do understand but I do understand the pressure. I get it. This man's getting literal death threats. They're having funerals outside of the arena.
Yeah, Dallas fans, y'all need to chill out. I mean, I know you're upset that you lost Luka. I understand, but be mad. If you want to be mad at him, fine. I get it. Death threats, man. Come on, man.
Right. Yeah, that's a little far.
Come on, man. That's
man.
That's just stupid. I'm just gonna call it. This is dumb. It's nothing. Ain't nothing worth that much where you're gonna kill a man.
It's basketball.
Yeah, it's a basketball game.
It's basketball.
And probably people sending the death threats don't even go to the game.
Right. Right. 100% correct on that. Like you just mad for no reason. Like what,
right.
Whatever. So but I get the pressure that Nico and those guys were under. Apparently Mark didn't know. And when he found out, he tried to call Cuban. Mm-hmm. And he tried to call Nico and say, "Don't do this."
Look, he was not in charge anymore. So
is he a part owner? Like
he's a minority owner.
They clearly don't value his 20%.
No.
His 20% means nothing anymore.
No.
Wow. Okay. All right. Just say it, And then the only other news, if you want to call it news, which is kind of surprising.
That is surprising.
The Raptors paid Brandon Ingram through $120 million, $40 million for the next 3 years. That seems like a lot to me, but
they have. Well, I think the part of it too is they have to spend the money.
They have to spend the money.
And so, I mean, that's why a lot of these dudes are getting these contracts, because these teams have to spend the money from the TV deal and the collective bargaining and all that stuff. There is a floor, and so they have to avoid hitting the spending floor. They do have to spend so much money. So who else?
Well, they got their big three now. They have their big three: Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and R.J. Barrett.
Oh, they consider R.J. the third. I guess since he's from Canada.
He's from Canada. There it is. He's from Canada. So there's that.
Emmanuel Quigley might be playing better than R.J.
Maybe Grady Dick's their third.
Grady Dick is going to be their third. Grady Dick is a baller.
Dick is good. Pause.
Might want to go Grady there.
I want to go Grady.
Everything about that dude just speaks comedy. The last
no
name,
question.
A white dude named Grady.
Which I can comfortably say, didn't know that existed. Didn't know that there were white Gradys out there. The last Grady that I knew about was on Sanford & Son.
Grady Wilson.
Just saying. So
his parents and him definitely are in on the joke.
No question about it. And it feels deliberate. It does not feel accidental.
Especially the jersey swap last year with Black from Orlando. That was
There's no way they didn't know what they were doing when they named that kid that.
The grins on their faces trying to hold in the laugh during that jersey swap. They won me over forever.
Listen, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I love it. I love it all. So, all right. So that's your hot headlines and hot takes for today, which brings us now to, again, what was a wild, wild week of craziness as it relates to the trade deadline. So now we've had time to woosah and to breathe and to take it all in. I just picked out a couple of names and teams, and then if we want to throw some in at the end, that's fine. But let's just go through and give out a couple of grades, Kendrick. I say, since we're already there, let's start with the Pelicans and Raptors. Probably more surprising for the Pelicans of what they did is what they didn't do.
Yeah, they kept Zion.
They kept Zion. They doubled down on Zion. Or there was no deal either presented to them or that they felt was adequate compensation for him at this time. Okay.
I think it's that. I think they're ready to get out from under that. And so probably be an off-season deal. All they got to do is contact Utah because Utah loves being the third team in the deal. So get a 3-team deal. Utah's always down.
By the way,
Danny Ainge loves a 3-team deal. Get a bunch of picks that he'll never use.
Heard the Draymond Green podcast, and there are rumors that Danny Ainge had no idea he was helping the Lakers get Luka
Doncic. Come on, that's impossible.
I'm telling you, I don't think he knew. I think the Lakers called him and said, "Hey, we got this thing going. We need to unload this thing. How about you take Hood Schifino and you give us a couple of things, second rounders or whatever." And they were like, "For Hood Schifino? And he's got an expiring contract? Done."
Mm-hmm.
And then he woke up the next morning, or woke up or came back from dinner that evening, and was like, "Wait, for Luka Doncic? Wait, what? How did that happen?" Because Danny would have backdoored the Lakers. First of all, Danny Ainge hates the Lakers.
Right.
So he's not going to help the Lakers get Luka Doncic if he can help it. He's been a butthole. They've been trying to get Walker Kessler for 2 years, and he's the asking price has been insanely ridiculous, like unreasonably.
Walker Kessler's balling.
He is balling. That's what I'm saying. And the Lakers,
like them being bad doesn't really make any sense. Because
not
Kessler's
really
good. Because Kessler's good, marketing's good, Sexton's good, Clarkson's good.
Clarkson's good, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense for them to be so bad.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. They got parts.
They got from Georgia. They played at Georgia Tech and with the Hawks. Collins, you got Collins. The fact that
Collins.
We can sit here and name that many Jazz players off the top of our heads lends to how is this team bad?
How are they this bad?
Because I know marketing's been in and out of the lineup, and Kessler's been in and out a little bit, but they should not be that bad. Wendy should not be on ESPN talking about the Lakers are doing the right thing by having Luka come back against the Jazz because they're so bad.
Right. And by the way,
they
proved the point because the Lakers smacked them around.
Yeah,
pretty good the other night.
They play them again here soon.
They play them tonight. They play them tonight. They get a second crack at them in Utah. So I don't know what to think about the Pelicans. I almost want to give them an incomplete grade, but I can't. So I think I'm going to give them a C minus.
I think you can give them an incomplete.
You think I can?
I think so, because I think they're going to get rid of. They're going to get out from under Zion in the offseason. I don't think there's you can really judge it or grade it until you see what happens with Zion.
I gotta believe Zion's gone. Probably C.J. McCollum just to get younger. By that, like they could have got, because if they're gonna do a fire sale, which looked like they tried to do, their prices seem like they're too high. Because like, what'd you keep C.J. for? If you're gonna get rid of Ingram, obviously you get rid of Ingram, you're saying we're throwing in the towel. Ain't nothing worse than having a yard sale and nobody buys the stuff, and now you got to take it back in the house. That's exactly what the Pelicans just did. They're like, don't know. All these cars driving by. How much you want for that Zion? No, it's too high. I'm not going to pay that for a used Zion. They just keep driving by. So on the Raptors side, I mean, a C, I guess. For them, I grade them on a curve a little bit because nobody wants to go up there and play. Nobody. So I give, and you got you a player. Him and Scotty Barnes can complement each other. They've got a decent starting five, and so I'll give him a C plus. Isn't Brandon just a skinny Carmelo Anthony? Like, he's got one skill, and it's scoring, which is a great skill. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. That's, Yeah. And they did sit him during the playoffs last year. And I don't know if he's a starter or a phenomenal future six man.
I think, well, for them, he's going to be a starter, but
He's right. No, but I know I get what you're saying, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying.
I don't
Like,
know if he's right. Yeah, I don't know if he's a starter on a championship team.
right, but he'd be a great six man because he's giving you 20 every night.
Mm-hmm.
You can count on that 20 every night. But other than that, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not impactful. It's not game changing.
He does get you a lot of empty calories.
A lot of empty calories. Not empty calories. So C's probably a good grade. What about the Suns?
They're a train wreck. That's another one you look at them. Why is this team bad? You got two generational players in D-Book and KD. You got a really good player in Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Who still has no trade clause that is amazing to me.
It's every time you say it, I just shake my head going, wow. Yeah.
You got
Technically,
Nurk.
he does have that.
And they got Nurkic, right?
No, they traded Nurkic.
They traded Nurk. But they had Nurk before they traded him. I mean,
right, they had him, but then they traded him because
that's a solid four. It's a solid
I don't
four
understand why. Yeah,
I don't understand why they won't go get a point guard. When they had Chris Paul, but I don't understand.
Will they have Tyus Jones now?
Yeah, Tyus Jones has played well for them, but again,
yeah,
Tyus Jones is a good player off the bench. You're not winning a title with Tyus Jones is just starting point guard. And so, and Grayson Allen has been good for them, and it doesn't make sense for them to be bad. You got a championship winning coach in Budenholzer. So
you say that it doesn't make sense, but it actually does.
It ain't got nothing.
In their case, it does. They have no bench whatsoever because you got 5 players or 4 now that play really well, and they can play well for about 28 minutes a game. But the human side of that is games last for 48 minutes. So they don't have anywhere to go beyond those 4 guys. And so, listen, where Phoenix is right now is a surprise to no one, except for Charles Barkley, who was saying Phoenix is going to be one of the best teams in the Western
Not
Conference.
when they got new ownership.
Right. Which every time Charles said that, it reminded me of why I love him. He's wildly entertaining and always wrong. It is inevitable that he's going to be wrong. Plus, he lives in Phoenix, so I get it. You still want them comp tickets. I get it. Ain't even but no, they're not going to be good, and they're not going to be good for the foreseeable future. So they left this trade deadline down 1 player, and also they pretty much told every player on their team that other than Booker that they didn't want him.
Now, question going forward in the next thing. Obviously, you're going to trade KD.
Right.
Probably going to get rid of Beal. Do you go ahead? I mean, he's not going to be there. Do you get rid of Book 2 and just start all over? You'll get us. I mean, for that trade, you get rid of those 3 players, you can totally rebuild the roster.
Well, let me say this. I don't know if I said this on this show or another show. I don't remember where I said it at, but I'll say it here now. I think Book is going to take that decision out of your hands, because when you get rid of KD and Bill, I think that will automatically trigger Book to say, I want out. Because there's only, people have a certain level of capacity to deal with BS. And I think you have pushed this man right to the limit. Because, and by the way, shout out to Book, who you never hear him publicly complaining. You never hear him pouting. He shows up for every game. He's been nothing but professional. Same with De'Aaron Fox. But also same to De'Aaron Fox, I think everybody has a limit. And how do you go from the finals to this? I think Book, it would not surprise me in any way that Book says at the end of the season, yeah, I'm going to need that trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So By the way, this is a complete F. By the way, it's a total failure in my.
What if D Book would go home? Detroit.
That's not a bad look.
That's not a bad look with Cade.
That's not a bad look, and they are rolling. Him and Cade together.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad look.
Mm-mm.
That's not a bad look. Yeah. I it's something for him to definitely consider. But I can't. I'll say this. I'd be stunned if he's there at the start of the 2025 season. I'd be stunned. I just think there's a line. So
they're gonna tell the clean house.
Yeah. Bucks traded off much injured Chris Middleton. Got back I don't even know how to describe Kyle Kuzma.
An IG star.
And strike a pose. There's nothing. Yeah. A character, I would say. He's a character.
But he's also a champion.
He is a champion. Yeah,
he can be a good piece. I don't know because essentially that's their big three.
Yes.
Unless Bobby Portis will tell you Bobby Portis is the big three, but another team that it doesn't make sense for them to struggle as much as they are.
Yeah.
I think that is going to end up being a good trade just for the simple fact that we make fun of Kuzma, but Kuzma plays every game, and Chris Middleton has been injured ever since they won that championship, and so I give them a B for that. As much as we make fun of Kuzma, just because it's funny. Yeah, he does show up. He is a champion, and he does contribute, and so I think that's going to end up being a good trade for them.
Not enough to put them all the way over the top.
No. They're still not getting past.
But definitely
Cleveland, New York, or
yeah. But an upgrade from what they had.
I'm not even sure they beat the
healthy.
Right.
No, I'm not either. I think they're going to struggle the entire playoffs. These moves that they made were awfully peculiar. So they got rid of Bones Highland and Terrence Mann, who are young, and brought in Bogdan Bogdanovic, who is older. Not saying old, he's 32.
He can do something. He can do something better than both of them, and that's shoot.
That's true.
So when
is shooting their problem?
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Okay.
The thing is, it's like he's not going to get many more open shots there than he was getting in Atlanta because they don't have as strong. Their post press is while it's a little bit stronger, not that much stronger. And I guess because Harden does command a lot of attention, so he may be able to get some open looks that way.
Right.
I'm not counting Kawhi in this at all, and so
you can't count Kawhi.
But the more interesting one to me was DeAndre Hunter going to Cleveland.
That
that is a heck of a fit for Cleveland. And I watched them the other night, and he was fantastic.
And by the way, we can go ahead and we can make this a trifecta and talk about all three teams at the same time: Cleveland, Clippers, Hawks. I listen. DeAndre Hunter, for what they got rid of, injured Karis LeVert and other pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may have. I would argue that may have been as, for what it's going to mean for their team, it may have been equally a steal as what the Lakers did. Like, how did you pull that off? I don't understand
key, that. To me, it's the third best deal behind the Lakers deal and De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs.
100%.
I think DeAndre Hunter going to Cleveland is the third biggest.
Well, I think it makes – now, again, a lot of things got to come together. They got to gel. They got to figure out. They got to further define roles, although DeAndre's is pretty clear what they're bringing him in to do.
3 and D,
right? Listen, people think the way to beat the Celtics is you have to outscore them. No, you have to stop the ancillary pieces. You cannot let Derek White and Jrue Holiday and Porzingis beat you. The Cavaliers are now set up perfectly to stop that.
Yeah.
If Derek White sees an open three, I'd be stunned I'd be stunned because DeAndre Hunter can guard Derek White.
DeAndre Hunter can guard our three. Derek White, Jason
you can
Tatum,
switch them
and
around
Jaylen
wherever
Brown.
you want.
Whoever's
Exactly.
going off, you can throw DeAndre Hunter over there on them.
I think the gap went from here to here. Like I don't think it's going to be interesting. Now I am very interested in what the
It's closed the gap enough to where I can see Cleveland sneaking up and stealing that number 1 seed because Boston has played bored for a good chunk of the season. They've got some bad losses,
yeah,
because they're bored. Now, whenever they want to pop up and show people,
yeah,
they do. I mean, they blew out the Knicks and they've blown out the Cavs a couple of times. And so when they're ready, but like they lost at home to Memphis, they lost at home to who else they lose at home to? I think the Thunder. Didn't the Thunder go there and blow them out?
I think the Thunder did. And was that Laker game in Boston or was that in?
That was in
on the
LA.
road trip, right? Or was that
was in LA
okay.
when LA beat them to death. And so yeah, they've got some losses. I mean, not losing in those three is not bad, but when they lost to the Lakers, that was pre-trade Lakers. And so
it was, but it was also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also think that was without Anthony Davis.
It may have been.
I think that was without Anthony Davis, which is interesting because, but also it was with Max Christie, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So that is it. It's very interesting to see what the Celtics are, but I don't know if they can catch Cleveland. That's the thing. And I know we're going to get to the standings here in a minute, but they're 5.5 back. And Cleveland don't seem to be slowing down. So
Boston's 5.5 back.
Boston is 5.5 back, and it's.
Yeah, I think Cleveland's gonna win. We'll get that.
I was gonna say that feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. That feels like a lot. So I don't know. That's gonna be interesting. But listen, Cleveland got way better.
Mm-hmm.
Way better. So that's an interesting one. I don't know what the Hawks are doing other than. The only thing, I guess the asking price for Trae Young must have been way too high for them to do anything with that. Yeah. But other than that, it seems like they're just selling off everything for scraps. Mm-hmm. And they're taking for flag. They're trying to plant their flag, as other teams are as well. So, Kings Spurs, you said it. I think that's the second best trade at the deadline. I didn't pick the Warriors.
And it ends up being good for the Kings that they ended up getting a Zach LaVine to replace De'Aaron Fox. He's not the same player as De'Aaron. They're actually, the games are two totally, the only thing similar is that they're both really fast. Yeah. But Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan didn't work in Chicago, but I don't know how much is going to work in a much tougher Western Conference. But you do have Sabonis in there. And so I think, but I considering that Fox kind of put them in a bad spot, they got the best of the situation by being able to get a Zach LaVine in that trade.
100%. I couldn't be mad at anything that they did in that deal because it appeared they were going to get nothing.
Right.
And San Antonio was absolutely not going to budge on Stephen Castle, which they shouldn't.
No.
So I think to be able to get a Zach LaVine and be able to get they picked up another player. Who was it? They picked up another player, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Give me a second here. Because it was an interesting trade, and I know they got all the picks, and there was somebody else that Sacramento got. Was it Vucevic?
Where did Vooch go? No, I think
I want to say it was Vucevic. No, Vucevic went to Charlotte, which was what?
Poor guy.
I don't get that at all.
Because if you're Charlotte, you got a decent roster.
Valanciunas.
Yeah,
Valanciunas.
Valanciunas. Yeah, they got Valanciunas.
That's a good. So you got it at the end of the day. If you're the Kings, that's
you did
solid.
pretty good when you're losing your star.
That's solid. That's very, very solid. You replace Alex Len. You got a decent star back in return. You got and you got picks to build. So you had a good day if you're the Kings.
Yeah, you're not too upset if you're the Kings.
Yeah. I almost forgot about. I don't know how I forgot about this. Jimmy. So far,
I mean, it looks all right so far. He's always fine the first year. It's not the first year that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, listen. The good news about this is that it's a short marriage.
It's 2 years. Right. So next year when he's gonna want an extension, here we go.
See you later, Jimmy.
Yep. So and then him and Draymond in the same locker room.
I can't wait. I need Hard Knocks to break their rule and do their first ever basketball version of Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Matter of fact, let's make it Hard Knocks Pacific Division of the NBA. Because I need some Warriors, I need some Lakers, and I need some Sacramento. I'd watch every episode.
And the Clippers, yeah.
And the Clippers. Yes. Yes. I watch every episode. Every episode. I'm all in. All in. So I need that to happen. And then, of course, the final trade. As crazy as that week was for the Lakers, for them to end it with Alex Len, and you still get to keep Dalton Connect.
Yeah. Well.
And you got Luka Doncic.
And you kept Austin Reeves. That was the big
and
one.
You kept Austin Reeves, who is playing out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give the Lakers an A. And Rob Pelinka maybe getting a statue next to Jerry West when this is all said and done. Like this, that was a hell of a week on his part. Mm-hmm. I'll say this, and I'm going to take the fan. And let me say this: this is what I'm about to say is the reason why we started this show. It is the reason why we started this show. I vehemently disagree with those who say that there's just no chance for them to do anything significant this year. To me, this is where you're going to find out how brilliant I think J.J. Redick is. Because J.J. is what I've quickly found out as a Laker fan is J.J. is a very smart guy when it comes to the X's and O's of basketball.
Yeah.
And while everyone is saying, well, they can't win without size. No, what you're not understanding in that statement is that you can't win without an anchor in size. Because it just shifts the way that you have to play. So now, instead of packing it in to protect the paint, you now have to push it out and put pressure on the perimeter. And you can do that with the length of their wings. You have enough significant wings now. Now, I hated losing Max Christie. That is a blow. That is a blow. But you now it appears you have a healthy Vando. You have a healthy. You have him playing much better. Gabe Vincent. He looks like Miami Gabe Vincent. You have a lot of great pieces to push the defense out and also protect Luka Doncic. And now all Alex Len now has to do is get rebounds and try to block at least 2-3 shots a game. If he can do that, this is going to be a formidable team.
They'll be formidable, but
yeah.
The thing is they'll be fine against the Golden States of the world, But if they went up against the Thunder.
See, that's what everybody keeps saying. But see, here's the thing that I think we're all missing. The Lakers are not now going to run with the Thunder. They're not going to run with the Thunder. They're not going to run with
but they can't
with
slow
Houston.
it down. You're not going to slow it down against the Thunder either with those 2 7-footers inside.
I think they might. I think you're going to be surprised. I think people are going to be surprised at and watching. Now, let's be clear. It's the Jazz, so I can't. Like you said, for whatever reason, the Jazz are awful. But I think it was also a good look at what I think the future of what the Lakers basketball is going to look like. They're not going to run like they have been doing, because that's not who Luka Doncic is. He's not a runner. He's a I'm gonna play at my pace guy, and which, by the way, plays to LeBron's advantage, because now LeBron ain't got to run no more. He can play at a different pace. So I think the spacing, I think it's going to look way different than people think. I think people are going to be shocked at how it works on both sides of the ball. And it's going to be frustrating to the teams that like to go, like the Memphis Grizzlies, like the Oklahoma Thunder. And the one advantage that I think the Lakers may have is the IQ of how to slow it down and keep them in that place of frustration. The Lakers aren't going to win any more games this year 130-0. They're not playing them games at all. Them games are going to be played 120 and down. It's going to be, they're going to hit 100 and be like, yes, and we held them to whatever. It's going to be different, I'm telling you.
I don't see them holding people under 115.
I think it's the only path they have to be great. I don't think they can't run with anybody. They're going to have to play a different style of basketball.
But the thing is perimeter defense is still going to be an issue, because LeBron doesn't play defense every possession like he used to. Luka doesn't play defense at all. And so, so perimeter defense is still going to be an issue. It's only going to be so many blocks that Len can block. And then, like I said, with the Thunder, with their 2 7-footers, I don't trust Memphis yet. I love them, but I don't trust them. Houston's built to give them problems, but they're still young, so you wonder about them. But Denver's going to be a problem for them, and so
and that's the one that
Dallas will be a problem.
Is the least amount of problems. Well, Dallas is not going to make the playoffs. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs. It's not their fault, but I just don't think they're going to get healthy. But that's just
I don't know about AD, but I mean PJ will be back.
I just don't think they're going to be able to get healthy. I think we're not going to see AD until mid-March, maybe. You know what I mean? Depending on how bad this Gafford thing is. And by the way, it really doesn't matter how bad it is, because it's a knee injury, so it's bad, and it's going to be significant probably the rest of the season. I just think they're going to run out of gas. Dallas is going to run out of gas. Listen, there's going to be a fun down the stretch, but I'd like if I was scheming for the Lakers, we would have a defensive scheme that I think would shock people. And now, the key to it is their youth. Their youth have to commit on the defensive side of the ball. Because I'm taking LeBron, I'm taking Luka off of anybody significant on the offensive side. They won't play any significant player at all. Not guard.
They're gonna have to.
No, they don't. They really don't.
You can hide one. You can't hide two.
I can hide. Well, here's what I'm doing. I'm not hiding him the entire game, but I'm keeping LeBron back for at least 3 quarters, and then on the 4th, when I need him, I need that expertise. I need that. Luka, he's Steph. I don't have to have him out there guarding anybody of significance. You know, so
you can hide one. You can't hide two. You can't, because eventually, especially a team like the Thunder, when they got so many people who can go off on you for 25, 30 points. I mean, it's not just Shea. I mean, Williams kid. I mean, they can. And then you got Holmgren, and you got the big the dude from New York. And so, who you gonna hide them on? You can't hide them on Shea.
No, I can't.
You can't hide them on Jalen Williams.
I can't hide them on Shea. For me, when it comes to Luka, his offense is going to have to primarily be his defense, like it always has been. That's just what it's got to be. I can't. I know what I'm getting defensively. I was watching him Monday, and he's, guys are blowing past him. He's just swatting at the ball. I'm like, okay, I get it. That's not what you do. That's not why you make a trade for Luka Doncic, right? But that's the wash. I gotta whatever Shai's getting, Luka's got to match it. So or come close to matching it. So then it just has to be the others, like Shaq likes to say all the time. It's going to have to be the others. But I think it's going to be a lot better than people think it's going to be. I really do.
I think they'll end up with the top 3 or 4 seed.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, and I said they'll be fine against the Golden States and probably the Memphises and that, but against I'm saying against the Thunder, the Nuggets,
they need their young guys to accelerate their learning curves. They have to, like the Jackson Hayeses, Cameron's a lot. The Dalton Connects, honestly, I mean, they need to re-engage him and make him feel loved again. The Warman Fuzzies, the Austin Reeves. Their young guys gotta take some leaps this year. Which, by the way, maybe they can do, maybe they cannot. We'll see. The talent is there. I don't know if they can make the jump. But if they can, it can get real interesting.
I'm with Wendy. I'm like, whatever they do this year, it was fine. I don't anticipate them getting to the finals.
In my opinion, we've already won this year. There's nothing else to do.
I mean, I can see them getting knocked out before the conference finals, to be honest.
Right. And that's totally fine.
But like I said, they've got pieces and they got the ability to go out and get some bigs for next year. Yeah. They should have never let KCP leave, but that's not.
That's a whole nother conversation. So, okay. So, giving us the standings, we got the Cavs, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Pacers, the Bucks, and the Pistons taking the top 6 in the East.
Wild seeing the Pistons in the top 6. It's wild.
Crazy. Is that crazy or what? Like,
especially like the Magic with all the, the coming in. I mean, you thought they were going to be up there, but they've had so many injuries.
Yeah, they haven't been able to rebound well from the injuries. Shocking to see the Bulls still around the top 10. That's weird.
Because there's only 12 teams.
That is also true. That is also true. The Heat are kind of hanging around. I don't think the Heat can catch the Pistons.
No.
Yeah, I think the Heat.
I think the Magic is the team that'll come out that has the best chance of. And out of those last few teams, the Magic are the best chance to maybe catch the Pistons. And I don't even see that happening.
They're 2.5 back now.
The Magic going to be a tough out in the lower.
If the Magic can get hot in the second half, they present an interesting problem. So here's the real interesting thing about the standings in the East. The Pacers are in the 4th spot now, and they have a 1-game lead over the Bucks, a 2-game lead over the Pistons, and a 3.5-game lead over the Heat. So the Heat, the Hawks, or Magic, all right there.
Mm-hmm. And the Magic has the best roster out of those teams.
And the Magic has the best roster out of those teams. So the Magic could make a significant jump if they can just kind of stay healthy going to the finish line. Ironically, the 76ers are on the outside looking in. They are far back, bro. Well, they're only a game and a half back of the Bulls, but I don't know when are they going to ever be healthy.
Well, Embiid's never going to be healthy.
Yeah.
And then like him and George both played last night, and then Maxey like totally took a backseat. I think he scored like 5 points. And so
I think Maxey is the key to the rest of the
Yes.
future.
Yes.
Stop linking up to Embiid and thinking that's going to take you somewhere.
Right.
By the way, you want to talk about blow-ups? There's a suitable blow-up candidate.
Philly.
The problem is he makes $300 million.
I know.
But that is a
Philly's stuck. They're stuck. because you're stuck with Embiid.
I think you got to get out of that Paul George thing.
Yeah,
you got to figure out a way out of it.
They never should have. I don't know why they did that in the first place. I love Paul George as a player when he plays.
Well, I'll tell you why they did it, because they're 2 years removed from Embiid being the MVP. I get it.
The problem is when your main player is always hurt, you don't go out and get another player who's always hurt. I mean, being honest with you,
I'm looking at
Cal Kuzma would have made more sense there than Paul George.
Yeah.
He's not as good as a player. I'm not saying he's as good as a player, but he's available.
But financially, it's a better option.
And financially, it's better.
Yeah, you don't have to commit as much. Right now, you got $500 million committed to 2 guys, and
you're gonna have to pay the third.
You're gonna have to pay a third guy. So essentially, by the end of next year or year after next, you're going to be committing almost $700 to these guys.
And Paul George is not going to be there.
No, you got to get rid of Paul George. You have to do that this offseason. So, in the West, you got the Thunder, who hold the best record in the league. The Memphis Grizzlies are holding the number 2 spot, but not by a lot. The gap between the Thunder and the Grizzlies is crazy. It's like 7.5 games.
Yeah.
So the Thunder just got to stay healthy. Yeah, they just got to stay healthy. But after that, it gets real interesting because the Grizz are 1.5 games up on Denver, 2.5 games up on the Lakers. The Lakers are essentially tied, if you want to look at it from the perspective of they have the same loss column, which is the measurement by which you kind of look at that where people are standing. They just played 3 less games than Denver. Mm-hmm. Which, how did that happen? Like, how did Denver get so front loaded? But Denver is in the 3rd spot. The Lakers are in the 4th spot, tied with Houston, and then the Clippers are 6. And then in the play-in is the Timberwolves, the Mavs, the Kings, and the Warriors. I fully expect. And by the way, the gap between 9 and 10 is about 6.5 games. 6.5, 7 games. Yeah.
It's interesting because like those lower 4 teams in the West are way better than those lower 4 teams in the East.
Yeah. Especially when healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult for all those teams. That West is so stacked.
I could see, as crazy as it's going to sound, Kendrick, I could see after the final 30 games, none of this changing.
Oh, yeah, I totally can see that.
Like 100%. It's 100%. This is almost locked because I, like you said, I don't know if the West is set up for anyone to make a significant. Now, and I say that knowing that the Lakers have won I think 11 out of the last 12 and 13 out of the last 50, some crazy number, whatever. But honestly, all it's done is gotten them from 6th to 4th.
Right.
So I don't know if Memphis is going to fall that far down. I don't know if Denver's going to fall. I think Denver's won some crazy number, like 8 of the
They've
last
won a bunch
9
of games, yeah.
Yeah, so I just don't know. I don't know. It's
the only teams that I have my questions with are, of course, those last ones with the Clippers, the Timberwolves. Timberwolves just don't make sense to me.
We're playing better. They're playing better.
The Mavs, with their injuries, I can see them falling if they get healthy. At the same time, if they get healthy, I can see them moving up all the way to the 5th spot. And so it's hard. And like the Warriors, you don't know how the Jimmy Butler thing is going to pan out. And then the Kings. I mean, all of those are good teams. I mean, none of those teams are bad.
No.
Like the Bulls are bad. But all of those
in every sense of the word bad, they are bad.
And so if all of those teams down there in the bottom of the West, yeah, I'm with you. I can totally see this not changing, or I can see it totally flip-flopping except for the 1st spot.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
Memphis is for some reason are flying way under the radar. You don't never hear anything about Memphis.
Nothing.
But
Nothing.
But because outside of Ja, none of them are household names. Jaren Jackson should be, but he's not. And so you got good players in Desmond Bain. I wish they could have gotten another scorer, but for some reason Jimmy Butler didn't want to go to Memphis, and they couldn't get a trade done for KD. So they're stuck with what they got. But it's not bad when you're the number 2 seed in the toughest conference. So I think with him, it's young.
Real quick, Chris Haynes is just reporting that Jabari Smith is on his way back. They're targeting. I want to say it looks like not June, February. What is it? 21st against the Timberwolves.
So next
his return, right after the All-Star, as his return date, which would be good for them, makes them stronger. Very significant player on that team. So listen, the West is insane. It's going to be a fight to the finish. It's going to be interesting to see all of these pieces come together at the end and what it all looks like in this last 30 games. March in the West is going to be insane. It's going to be, it's going to be really, really insane. So, all right, we are headed though to All-Star Week, my brother.
Yeah.
One of the strangest All-Star weeks probably we've seen in quite some time. Because if I'm being candid and honest, none of this ish makes sense.
It hurts me.
Yeah.
Because I used to be such a fan of All-Star Weekend.
Same here.
I always have been a fan of All-Star Weekend. And now it's just so. And honestly, as much as I advocate for the players, I always take up for the players have ruined. The players are the reason why the All-Star Weekend is what it is now. They don't care. 100%. They don't care. It started with LeBron not ever doing the dunk contest, and it's been that from there on.
It did start with that, didn't it? Yeah. That because that was a significant shift in the mentality of what All-Star Weekend was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And when he opted out and said, I have nothing to prove, the other guys was like, yeah, me too.
Right.
And they've been me too the entire time.
Yeah. And they don't want to. They're scared to lose.
By the way, you heard Bronny opted out of the All-Star, the Rising Star game. Did you hear about that?
I didn't. I didn't know he was a candidate for it.
He was given the invitation and he opted out.
Good on him.
That he opted out of that and doing a skills thing with his dad. They were going to do the first.
They could have done that. Thing. They should have done that. But I can see opting out of it. I can see opting out because he don't deserve to be in that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I understand him opting out of it all because he can't win.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he doesn't win, he absolutely is going to be eviscerated on in the court of public opinion and online. And I think it just didn't make sense for him to do it. And I get it. I honestly get it. And he's not. And by the way, let me also say this. I don't know if a player in the league right now is going through more than Brian James is. Because, by the way, that man had a heart attack.
Right. You know how I feel. I've felt for Bronny for day one. I root for Bronny because he's under so much pressure and scrutiny.
Yeah.
And it's not his doing. You don't hear from Bronny. If Bronny was talking, I wouldn't even know it was him.
Bronny wants to play video games, play basketball, and continue to date Sally and DeAndre Whitfield's daughter. That's his life. That's what he wants.
Right.
And maybe make an appearance with Kai Cenat. Well, no, his brother likes to do the Kai Cenat thing. But Bronny's a very chill dude. So I don't think he deserves 95% of what he's getting.
No.
But it's tough for him, man. It's really tough for him. So I think he's making the right decision. But
the skills thing, though, I wouldn't have minded that. Because it's just him and his dad.
Yeah,
doing stuff.
And
honestly,
high though.
But the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron made that call because LeBron doesn't do any of that stuff.
Well, LeBron agreed with Bronny and like, I'm not doing that. You've seen my skills for 22 years. I'm like I said, that goes back to not being in the dunk contest. I never heard it put the way you put it, but I think I agree.
This stuff started then, and now it's just like. Because it meant something to these guys back then.
Yeah.
The dunk contest meant something. I mean, that was the star maker back then. Was the dunk contest?
Yeah, no, 100%. Because like Jason Richardson, did you know who he was prior to the dunk contest?
Only if you watched college basketball because of Michigan State. That's the only reason why you knew him.
Exactly.
Same with Isaiah Ryder.
He was a decent college player. He became a name after the dunking contest.
Yeah.
And that's what the dunk contest used to be, a place to make your name.
Yeah.
And now it's just, and I guess technically it kind of still is when we have a good one, but the good ones are like few and far between now.
We just know Matt McClung now because that's all he does.
That's his whole.
He can't get
That's his whole shtick. That's his whole shtick, right? That's his whole shtick. So we'll start with the game itself. There are 3 teams, and they're going to play on All-Star. Well, there are 4 teams that are going to play. So this is so confusing. So on Friday night, 4 teams are going to play, and the 4 rookie teams that play on Friday night, the winning team will become Candace Parker's team for Sunday. So that's kind of cool that the Rooks are going to get a chance to play on Sunday all of a sudden. I think that's cool. In the All-Star game, which I don't know, that's weird, but because they're technically not All-Stars, but whatever.
Day on Sunday.
That whole experience. Because I think they're going to 40, so that's crazy. So there's that. So the way the game on Sunday is going to play out, Kenny's team is going to play Chuck's team, and to assure that LeBron makes it to the finals, and his team, Shaq's team is going to play the Rooks. And then the winners of those 2 games will play each other.
It's never just all they have to do. Team USA versus Team Europe or whatever.
Because we can do that legitimately and have a great game now.
Well, because USA taking an L. That's why they're not going to do it.
Well,
you putting Wemby, Giannis, Luka, Joker on the same team. USA taking that L. That's why they're not going to do it.
That is why they're not going to do it. It is a stronger than strong possibility that the United States would take a massive L.
Because Shea, he's going to be playing on the other, unless they make it USA, make it North America against the
starting 5. Let's just use this year. The starting 5, when you did that, it would be Giannis, Shea,
Wemby.
No,
hold on. Wemby won't even start. Because you're putting Joker there.
You're right.
It's Joker.
It would be
Giannis,
the starting 5 would be
Joker.
Giannis, Shea, Joker, Alfred Sengun probably.
I don't even know.
You might start Wemby.
I mean, Luke, you're gonna have Luka.
No, because Luka's not playing. He would be on this team. In normal circumstances, he absolutely would be playing.
Yeah,
Thank God he's not playing.
If we just had a hypothetical USA against the world, it's
Shea,
Luka, Joker, Giannis, and then Shea,
it is a strong possibility that the
and Wemby, and probably it may be Wemby. They throw Wemby in there just because the popularity thing.
But you're bringing Alfred Sengun, Pascal Siakam off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty solid squad.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid squad.
Yes, the USA team is going to be what? Ja, old LeBron, old KD, old Steph.
I sense a theme.
Maybe old Jimmy Butler. You get Cat. You'll have Cat. No, Cat's not from the States either.
I was going to say, no, Cat legit could play for the international team.
Yeah.
I think technically he's Bahamian, right?
Yeah. Rudy Gobert's playing for the French. You have Anthony Edwards. We'd have Anthony Edwards.
There you go. So there's that.
And Zion.
No, we wouldn't have Zion.
Jalen Brunson.
He would be hurt. Zion would get hurt during warm-ups.
You'd have Jalen Brunson. Maybe Trey.
Cade Cunningham.
Cade. It'd be formidable. It'd be a fun game, and they might actually play for real.
The irony is,
the international team is going to play for real.
I was going to say, the irony is, without KD, without Steph, without LeBron, the U.S. would absolutely lose that game. I think they get blown out.
Yep.
They could lose by 25. Easy. So, I don't know. But I'm all for USA versus the world. I think that'd be great. But we're not getting that. We're getting this.
Maybe make it North America so at least we can have Shea and Cat.
Which is not a small get, by the way. That's a significant get, is what you're saying. Yeah. The Celebrity All-Star Game, Barry Bonds is coaching one team, Jerry Rice is coaching the other. On Barry Bonds' teams, you have names like Kai Cenat, Baron Davis. That team has no shot. That team has no shot.
Stardom is amazing to me. You notice all these YouTube celebrities like him and what's the big dude? Drewski. They're all these national commercials, and they don't have any. They don't have to give them not one line. They don't say anything.
And the reason why is because those guys can't act. although Drewski's not horrible as an actor. I've seen him act in a couple of things now. He wasn't horrible.
But Casanat in those T-Mobile commercials just stands there.
Oh, he's awful. It's awful. It is. It's almost like he's got Snoop in a hostage situation, and Snoop.
It feels like it's the other way around. It feels like Snoop has him in a hostage situation. That's why he's just sitting there not saying nothing.
He's not saying anything. He's just.
He's literally just there. I'm like, man, they can give him a line.
Like, dude, do something. They're awful. They're awful. If I didn't already have T-Mobile, I probably wouldn't get it because of that commercial.
I tell you, if T-Mobile had legitimate internet, I'd have him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Team Rice is Matt Barnes, Bailey from the WWE. Drewski, ironically, is on the Team Rice team. Terrell Owens. I think Team Rice is probably going to take this one.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Matt Barnes.
They definitely have size. With
they got
Terrell Owens and Drewski. Because Drewski's a big dude. Terrell Owens still thinks he can play football, so you know he's in shape.
Yeah, he's in shape. He's 100% in shape.
Even though I've seen Terrell Owens play basketball, and all he can do is dunk. He can't shoot to save his life.
No, he can't shoot. He can't shoot worth the corner. So on the Rising Stars, they're actually using the exact same format as the. There's 4 teams. Team Tim Hardaway, Team Mitch Richmond, Team Chris Mullins, and the G League team.
Who do they think is watching all of this?
I don't know who wants to watch.
I love basketball. I love All-Star Weekend. I'm not watching all of that. There's good college games going on this weekend anyway.
I'm not watching. I may not watch. With all due respect to our NBA podcast that we're doing right now. Probably not watching the Rising Stars game. At least not in real time. Now I may I may put it, watch my own version of a recorded speed through it type thing, skip like a lot of the time, just to say I saw some parts, but sit through the entire 3 hours? No, I'm not doing that. So that's, and then there's the HBCU Morehouse game, HBCU Classic game. Shout out to Chris Paul and those guys putting that on. But that'll be Morehouse versus Tuskegee. But because I know nothing about the problem with the HBCU Classic is that that's the only game you've let me see this year.
Right. So
I know nothing about this.
You have no connection.
No connection whatsoever. It's I get the throwaway, but it's just not a good. We can do more. If we're gonna help HBCUs, let's help them. So then we get to Saturday night, bro, and the skills challenge. We got Team Cavs, which is Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. Team Rooks is, and I can pull this up for you. I don't know why I'm being stingy right now. Acting like I don't have the capacity to pull it up for you. There you go. You got Team Cavs with Donovan and Evan. Right. Team Rooks is Zakari Rissakar and Alex Sarr. That's 1 and 2, right? In the draft, right?
Yeah.
Is this the most forgettable draft of all time?
Yes. Because I can barely name you the rookies outside of Connect.
I don't. I can barely even pronounce their names. How about that? Team Spurs is Chris Paul,
Edie.
Victor Wembanyama. Team Warriors is Draymond Green and Moses Moody.
Yeah, I'm going Team Spurs all day on that one.
I feel like Team Spurs is going to take that with relative
I've never
ease.
associated skill with Draymond.
Don't they have to shoot a 3 in that one?
Draymond, his actually 3-point shooting is up this year.
It's better. It is better.
It was weird because he was a decent 3-point shooter early in their run, and then all of a sudden he couldn't hit the side of a barn. But he's gotten better. He's gotten back better at it.
Well, I got to go with, like you said, Team Wemby on that one. Team Chris. All right, the 3-point contest, you got Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kareem Johnson, Damian Lillard, and Norman Powell. By the way, 3-point contest, in my humble opinion, by far the best event of All-Star Weekend.
It's surpassed.
I'm not sure it's close.
So much.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's even close. This is a good field.
Yeah, it is a good field. That's a tough field. I mean,
Lillard,
I think, would be your favorite since he's won it.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's won it. He's on. I think he's on.
Well, he has won it, but he has won it. But I think the last couple of years, he hasn't performed as well. I'm gonna go with guys that I think are streaky, and I'm gonna say, and guys who have something to prove. I feel like this is Norman Powell's or Tyler Hero's to lose. I
was leaning towards Hero.
Yeah, because especially Norman Powell. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, with all due respect to Kyrie, I think or Trae Young, I think Norman Powell should have got that last spot.
Yeah,
Norman has had an outstanding year. The Clippers wouldn't even be in the conversation if it wasn't him.
Yeah, and like I'm looking at the rest of them, like Jalen Brunson is somebody. Him and Cade Cunningham are both great players that can shoot. They're not shooters.
Yeah, they're not shooters.
You know what I'm saying? Garland's a pretty good player who can shoot. Tyler Hero's a shooter.
Yeah.
You're saying Buddy Hield's a shooter. Cameron Johnson is a shooter.
But Buddy Hield's a streak shooter, though. He is a streak shooter for sure. So I don't know if he can muster up, what he needs for this game. But we'll see. And then the dunk contest, I don't know.
Keep going.
McClung. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause, the kid from the Bulls, Matas Buzelis, he said he loves it because he's been training with Zach LaVine.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe.
I'll just go with McClung because he's the one that I've seen.
I don't want to get my hopes up at all. I'd rather come in thinking this is going to be a D- and surprisingly get an A.
Yeah, go in with low expectations. You won't be
way low expectations. So that's your All-Star Weekend along with the game. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds, but things just ain't the same. So there you go. All right, we're closing out with it's the same. So now we're closing out with the other stuff. And listen, if you know anything about Kendrick Haskins and Lloyd Spence, we are hip hop junkies. There's only one thing other than basketball that we're going to talk about. If you were to see our group, our text chain, you see it comprises of just maybe a few things. And one of our main topics is Kendrick Lamar. So I think we can say, I'll let Kendrick speak for himself, but I'll speak for myself. For all of you who thought it wasn't a good Super Bowl or it was one of the worst performances in the history of whatever, I'm going to look directly in the camera and speak to you. I am now the little girl from Remember the Titans. I do not care.
Right. I've reached that point. I quit. I haven't even really been looking at social media because every time I open it up, there's people talking about it.
I have sat through so many of your bad Super Bowl performances or Super Bowl performances that I was deeply uninterested in. For the first time, I can honestly say I was all in, and my guy did not disappoint. He was brilliant. Brilliant from start to finish. And so, to also quote another guy who didn't get a chance to perform at the Super Bowl, Lil Wayne, if he said if it's too Southern, then you don't get the basics. Then I'll say if it was too Kendrick, then that's your fault. You don't understand Kendrick, and you don't have to. But for me, brilliant. And it let me know I'm raising my kids right because my kids had a wonderful time.
A lot of people is like, that say they hate it, but what's the reasons for hating it?
Because they don't understand it. They don't understand it.
But like the thing is, it's like, was there any kind of nudity or sexual stuff? No. Was there any kind of satanic symbols like they can claim with Beyonce? No.
Right.
It's just music.
What part did you actually hate? Now, is it hard to translate hip hop across the cultural landscape? Not cultural meaning American landscape. For a Super Bowl, yes, 100%, 100%. If you don't know what Kendrick is saying or doing, you're not going to get it in that moment. I get that. I understand that. But so what?
Because my thing is, because the thing with the show, if you're a Kendrick fan, you were fine with it. He wasn't going to win any new fans with it.
No.
People who was on the other side because of the Drake stuff or whatever, they were going to stay over there. They was looking for reasons to hate. And then the people who have a problem with hip hop anyway, they weren't gonna like it. Right. And so, because I made my post. Here come the non-hip hop fans hating on the.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
I posted that before the show.
Did you really?
I posted that in the second quarter.
Wow. And true to form, they came out and go. And by the way, to all the hip hop fans who said, why didn't he play more of his hits? Because if you know Kendrick, that ain't what he do. He's not trying to make you like him. That's the thing I love about Kendrick more than anything. He ain't interested. It's ironic to me that all of the guys I love in hip hop are guys that aren't trying to make you like them. They're just good at what they do. Mm-hmm. Kendrick, Jay, Andre 3000, Big Boy. By the way, I know we're going to do shout outs in a minute, but I'll give you, I don't know if you even knew this. Shout out to Outkast, who just got the nomination for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
That should be a lock.
Well deserved. That
should be a lock.
Yeah.
It should be a lock.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's Outkast. Let's
right.
So ironically,
finally get to see them together for once.
I know, right? The question: does Big Boy let Andre play a little flute during their Hall of Fame set? That's the
well, they do a set.
No. I think they have to. Doesn't they have to? Come on, Andre, don't do that to us, man. Don't do this, man. You gotta. Come on, man. At least give us Rosa Parks. If you can just give us Rosa Parks or bombs, I'm good. I'm good. Or you can just give us Aquemini. Give us Aquemini. I'm good.
Give us where it started. Give us players.
Give us Southern Player listed. You know what? You don't want to be on stage by yourself? Fine. Bring Goody Mob up. Give us Get Up, Get Out, Get Something. Whatever. Just don't deny us a performance is all I'm asking. Okay. All right. Anyway. But yeah, I just think the people who don't understand Kendrick spoke loudly because you don't understand Kendrick. And Kendrick don't care that you don't understand him. He wasn't speaking to you anyway. He was speaking to his core audience and giving them a message of hope, of encouragement, and also, by the way, I still got that ninja.
Exactly.
Say Drake.
The smile.
Oh.
The smiles.
Okay, let me ask you this. Your favorite I'm petty towards him moment of the performance.
It was
the smile was huge.
The smile was number one.
The smile was number one for you, okay.
But the number two is like, if I perform it, they'll sue. When he mentions the lawsuit, that was number like one until the smile. Because the smile.
I like the build up of it all. Yeah, I like the build up of it all. That was genius to put the build up the way he did. But I gotta say, for me, Lloyd, having one of his number one crushes, Crip walk all over his grave. Watching Serena Crip walk over him. Bravo, sir. Bravo.
I didn't know because I knew about that Drake dated Serena. I didn't know he dated SZA too.
And by the way, I did a little bit of a deep dive on the Serena thing. It's not dating in the sense that you might think that it was. Like, I don't think they were an actual couple. Like, they were, I think he shot his shot. They may have gone out maybe once or twice. A lot of the people that Drake claims that he dated, the women have come out here recently and said, no, he went out one time. Mm-hmm. And he's a nice guy, and I think that's just them being polite. But no, we didn't date. Like, it wasn't like, and that's their way of saying, I did not give this ninja the draws. I did not. They've all using the same line. He's a nice guy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, you're saying you didn't give him the draws. I got it. Mm-hmm. I got it. It's an undeserved reputation that he has as it relates to these women. Mm-hmm. So there you go. But I just thought it was brilliant. Kendrick is one of one.
Yep, he is one of one, and like everything had a meaning, even down to the PlayStation controller, which was a stage
brilliant.
set.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. Brilliant. I didn't know if those were lights that they were using in the stands or drones. Somebody said there may have been drones that were doing that. So I don't
probably
know.
Drones. Because it had to be drones or cell phone lights, and they had their people up there to turn the cell phones on.
I feel like it was probably drones.
Kentucky does a cell phone thing at their games at the starting lineup.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably drones.
You like do the QR code, and then at the time when they want you to use the light, you do that, and then they do the lights.
Speaking of Kentucky, you were at the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
And you survived the game last night. For those who don't know, our brother right here, Kendrick Haskins, almost a victim of a violent. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but still, it could have been bad, Kendrick. But you always be taking crashes, brother.
It's just part of the job. For those who don't know, I still shoot games or whatever. And so I was down there with my camera, and Tennessee guy came flying out there a loose ball, and he took me out.
Took him out.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get me flush, but he got me good enough. It hurt a little bit, but that's
was it the reaction to it? Oh my God, from your peers, like they come rush over and see if you're all right, or was everybody like, you good?
Yeah, that was what it was.
It's a cold game. It's a cold game in these press streets. It's a cold game.
Because I was surprised because my former sports director usually is watching everything, and like he didn't text me, so I know he wasn't watching the game. He usually would text me making fun of him.
And I would have normally. It's kind of funny because I normally would have watched that game as well. That's a pretty significant game, and for some reason last night I did not watch that game. So when you text me, I was like, "Really? That happened? Oh, okay, all right." So anyway, all right. So there are our thoughts about the other stuff. I know y'all were probably expecting us to talk about the Super Bowl. There's nothing to talk about. And we're gonna do Believe in the ACC tomorrow.
Yeah.
So just sit tight. We're doing Believe in the ACC tomorrow. If you want to join us live, you can. But yeah, you'll see all that tomorrow. So just come tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Shout outs. Who we shouting out?
Well, we pretty much shouted out KDOT. I'm gonna give a shout out to the Kentucky boys on the University of Kentucky's team, Trent Noah and Travis Perry. I mean, they combined for 19 points. It wasn't a world-beating effort, but these two guys are Kentucky boys. Came in not expecting to get a bunch of playing time. A bunch of injuries have happened that have forced them to play, and every game they've just gotten better and better, and they've stepped up in big performances. And this is the number 5 team in the country, and they both go for career highs. I mean, Noah had 11 points, Perry had 8 points, and you hear that and it's like, that's 11 points and 8 points. Those were huge baskets they had in that game.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Noah knocks down 3 3-pointers in that first half. Perry knocks down 2 3-pointers for the game, and they play well. Perry's playing out of position because he's a small 2 guard being forced to play point guard because of their injury situation. And Trent Noah is just a dude you can just play anywhere. And so they're out there contributing to. I mean, here they are, Kentucky boys playing for the team they grew up watching, and they're playing in this rivalry game because a lot of people don't realize outside of Louisville, people in the state of Kentucky hate Tennessee more than they hate Louisville. And so for them to be playing in that rivalry game against Tennessee and making plays in front of the home crowd, Rupp Arena was spectacular last night. Just big shout out to them because, I mean, they're out there, they're playing hard, and they're just good, nice, well-rounded kids. And like I've covered Perry for a couple of years when he's in high school, but I didn't meet Trent Noah until he got to Kentucky, and I think yesterday may have been the first time I actually talked to him. And just nice kids, and they're literally having the time of their life playing for the team that they grew up rooting for. So it's a big shout out to them.
Yeah.
And Trent Noah's new nickname now is Mountain Mamba.
Mountain Mamba, okay, that's
because he's from the mountain. He's from the hill. He's from the mountains in Kentucky. He's Eastern Kentucky coal miner area.
It don't get much more Kentucky than that.
And they call him Perry the Holler Baller because he's from a holler. He actually is not from a holler, but he's a holler baller and the Mountain Mamba.
Holler baller.
It don't get no more Kentucky than that. So
No, it doesn't.
Shout out to those 2 young brothers. They're doing their thing.
Real quick before I give my shout out, we didn't talk about any of the commercials. The commercial quality.
Nothing stood out. The Dunkin' Donuts.
And by the way, that's a lot. That's way too much money to be paying to not have a great commercial.
To make a non-memorable
$8 million. $8 million per 30 seconds.
You think he got
way
Jesse
too
Clinton?
much money. Right. It's way too much money to be getting it wrong. But the winner, according to USA Today, and they do a very extensive poll, was once again Budweiser. The horse rolling the keg up the hill, and that they thought that was the best. It was voted the highest.
People are sentimental to the Budweiser Clydesdales, and I get it. And it was fine. I'm not hating on it, but I thought the Dunkin' Donuts was the most memorable one.
And see, the Dunkin' Donuts came in. It's not even in the top 10, I don't think.
The one with Ben Affleck and all them.
Yeah, it's not even.
What about the Seal one? The Seal one was weird, but it was funny.
The Seal one was creepy.
No,
I don't ever want to see that. I don't want to see that one again. Oh, and that head thing.
The head thing was the creepiest one of them all. That was like,
I was like,
this was, and then they had multiple ones. I'm like, this is bad, and they had multiple ones of that.
Like,
this is
somebody
dumb.
needs to be fired. That was terrible. Man, I'm looking for the people did not resonate with the Dunkin' Donuts or the what was the other one you said?
Seal, the Mountain Dew commercial.
I'm sure the Seal came in dead last. Either the Seal came in dead last or the weird head thing came in last. There's no way they cracked the top 10. But the Dunkin' Donuts is not even in the top 30.
Wow. That's surprising given
It's
the star
34.
power.
It's 34.
That's surprising given the star power in that commercial.
I know. That is I think people just didn't get it. They just didn't get it. So yeah, that's strange.
Like the dude from Succession coming out of the coffee thing. That was hilarious.
That was funny. That was definitely funny. I don't know. It just yeah, it did not resonate. It did not resonate. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm always interested in the commercials, and to me, none of them were just like.
Yeah, none of them were
great.
bowls over.
Yeah. My shout out is simply to my family. I got to give a shout out to the fam who dressed up in their Kendrick Lamar gear, their shirts, and we all set for the Super Bowl and represented. And my girls had their hands in the air for every song, and I was like, I'm doing an all right job as a parent. If my kids are walking away thinking this is great hip hop, I'm doing all right. Doggone it. So I'm going to take my own victory lap here, Kendrick.
There you go.
Doggone it. Yeah.
There you go.
It was fun watching my daughter scream mustard all night. It was cool.
They do that all day anyway.
They do that all day. If you know the Spitz household, two things are going to get screamed in this house: mustard, and they're not like us. They're going to talk about that quite a bit in this house. So there you go. All right. That's it. That's all we got. Come back next week. We'll do it all over again. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as we're enjoying producing it. This has been a lot of fun. It's only going to get better. We'll talk about All-Star next week. We'll get you ready for the second half of the season next week. Yeah, we're just going to have fun, continue to have fun with the show. That's Kendrick Haskins. I'm Lloyd Spence. This is The Press and the Pros. We do so many podcasts. I have to remember the name.
I was like, I wonder if he's going to say believe in the ACC.
I was seconds away from saying believe in the ACC. We'll see you guys next time.